Do you like chocolate? Want to learn how to make German chocolate cake from scratch? Well, this episode's for you. Stick around and I'll show you how, only on Baking with Fox Hallow Kitchen. Hello to all my Fox Hallow fam, I'm Dave and welcome to Baking with Fox Hallow Kitchen. In this episode, I'm going to blow your minds with an amazing German chocolate cake recipe. I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate cake from scratch, then top it with 2 different kinds of frosting. But don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds, and you're going to love the result. So if you're ready, then let's have some fun. Well, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to make chocolate cake, and that's going to be easy enough. We're going to start with 2 cups of sugar, 1 3/4 cup of flour, 3/4 cup of cocoa, can't forget that if you're making chocolate cake.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a given.
1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda.
Okay.
And we're just going to whisk this together in a medium-sized bowl till it's completely mixed. Get that chocolate all in there, get the sugar and everything mixed together.
This is going to be awesome.
Okay, I think we are good.
Okay.
And now we're going to move on to our next step.
All right, sounds good. Okay, Dave, what do we got going on here?
Okay, next in the bowl of our stand mixer, we're going to take 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of buttermilk.
Now, why would you use buttermilk in this situation?
Buttermilk has a high fat content, it makes it very moist. And 1/2 cup of oil.
Okay.
And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we are just going to mix this together till it's completely mixed. Okay, now that that is all mixed together,
that looks great.
It looks good. We're going to take our dry ingredients from before.
Okay.
And add these in.
Okay, is this going to be our cake base here?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be our cake. We're going to add the dry ingredients to the wet.
Along with the puff of cocoa smoke.
Cocoa going everywhere. And we're going to stir this again until it's just combined. Okay, so what we have here looks more like brownie mix. What we're going to do to this finally is we're going to add a cup of boiling water.
Now, what's the boiling water going to do with that?
It's going to dissolve the chocolate for one thing. It's more like our gobs recipe. Remember, I have the boiling water to that.
Yeah.
And we're just going to mix this together. It'll be a loose batter, a really thin batter, but it'll work.
Okay.
Give this a couple minutes to mix together. I'll probably have to scrape the sides as well.
Alright, sounds good.
Okay. Finally, as you can see, I have lined 2 9-inch cake pans with parchment paper so that our cake doesn't stick no matter what. And we're going to pour our batter into the cake pans. Try and get them about the same amount in each one. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just getting these full.
Looks really good so far, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, this is a really thin batter.
But it's going to be well worth it.
It's going to be a moist cake, you know. We're then going to throw these in the oven at 375 for 20 to 25 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean.
Okay.
And that's it.
Alright, looks good. Let's do it.
Next thing we want to do is our coconut frosting. And to do that, we're going to put a stick of butter in a saucepan here with half a cup of white sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, packed, 3 egg yolks, don't need the whites, and 3/4 cup of evaporated milk, not the condensed sweetened milk, but the evaporated milk. And over medium heat, we're going to bring this to a boil and stir it until it thickens a little bit. Okay, now that this is bubbling over medium heat, we're going to keep stirring it. We don't want to stop. We want it to keep moving and not stick to the bottom. And we're going to do this for about 5 to 6 minutes until it starts to thicken up. Alright, this is starting to thicken a little bit. So at this point, I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm going to add a cup of chopped pecans. Stir those nice and good in there. And then we're going to add a cup of sweetened coconut flakes. Get those all mixed up in there. Oh yeah, this is looking really good. And a tablespoon of vanilla. Just going to stir this together and let it cool completely so that we can frost our cake with it. And that sounds good. Next, we're going to make our chocolate frosting. I'm going to start with a half cup of melted butter. That's 1 stick of butter melted.
Okay.
Get it all in there. Okay. And to that, we're going to add 2/3 cup of cocoa powder.
Okay.
Okay. And we're just going to mix this together real quick at first. Just gently mix it together. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And then what we're going to do is we have a 1/3 cup of evaporated milk. I'm going to add a little bit at a time here. And 3 cups of powdered sugar. Again, I'm going to add a little bit at a time.
Oh, you don't want the white cloud?
No, I don't want a white cloud in the kitchen. So we'll just add a little bit at a time. And add a little more evaporated milk. A little more powdered sugar. And just keep going. Okay, and our chocolate frosting is done. That looks really good. And we're going to get ready to assemble our cake.
Alright, sounds good, Dave.
Okay, our next step here is to assemble our cake. We got 2 cake halves here. I'm going to take one of them and turn it upside down onto a plate and see if we can get it to come out. And it's not really coming out, so I need a knife to take this around the edge. I just need to go around the edge with a knife to loosen it up. There we go. Now we turn it upside down, and that came out really nice. Okay, I'm going to peel my parchment back carefully.
Oh, Dave, that looks amazing.
It's a really moist cake.
You like saying moist, don't you?
Huh?
You like saying moist, don't you?
Oh, it is what it is. Okay, so what we're going to do here very carefully is we're going to take some of our chocolate frosting and just put a very thin layer on top here. Yeah, just a thin layer, not very much. Just to seal it mostly. That's all we're doing here.
Now, do you want to go the whole way to the edge? Or?
Almost, not quite, but like a 1/2 inch from the edge. Just almost. Just a little bit of cake here. Right, like that. That looks really good. And then the next thing we're going to do is take our boiled icing that I made with the coconut and the pecans, and we're going to take about half of that and spread it over the chocolate.
Okay.
Spread about half of it over the chocolate. Again, not quite to the edge, just almost. Just right up there. This is really thick.
Are you down with the thickness?
Yes. Yes, I didn't think this would thicken up as much as it did, but it did good.
Well, that's important, right?
And a really thick frosting here. And that'll be really good on top as well.
That's definitely important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you got a little bit of...
A little bit that fell down. We'll get that. Make sure we got enough on here. Use about half of the coconut frosting.
Yeah, I was just saying that looks pretty good right there.
Okay, looking good. That's about half. And then we're going to take our other cake, half, do the same thing. I'm just going to hit it with a knife. And then very gently invert this over the cake that we have. And take that off of there. Okay. And then we cover the rest of this with the rest of our chocolate icing to get it completely covered.
Okay.
This takes a little doing.
Okay.
But we'll get it done.
Yeah. Just keep on icing and we'll show everybody what it looks like when it's done.
Mm-hmm. There we go. And the last thing we want to do is take our coconut icing and just top the cake with it. I'm going to spread this out real good, just to the edges. Just use the rest of it. Looks like I'll have just enough here. And there you go. German chocolate cake. And now for the best part of all, the taste test. Let me get a little forkful of the cake here. Oh, the chocolate cake is so moist, and you're going to love that coconut frosting in the middle. Enjoy. Wrapping up today, I want to thank you all for joining us and encourage you to check out our friends and support channels listed in the description below. But before I go, always remember, good times and good food on Baking with Fox Hallow Kitchen. We'll see you soon.
If you like this video or any of our other videos,
Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and stay tuned for future shows.